Chamberlain Coffee by Emma Chamberlain has a great looking product section with nice hover effects, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can recreate this product section right from within Instant, all without code and in a matter of minutes. So let's get started. The first thing we do is drag our base row onto the canvas. Then we can set the height to 600 pixels and set the inside spacing to 80 by 80. The reason for this is that now when we drag in our 4 columns, which will be the 4 different products, there is some nice space between the outer edge of the page, so to say, and then when the content starts. For these 4 columns, let's set the height to 400 pixels. Also, let's reduce the gap that exists between the different columns. It's now set to 32. Let's change it to 24. And then let's set the background color for the base row. I have created a few colors within the brand styles, and it should be this color right here. And next up is working on this first row. So first, let's change the fill color to white. Set the radius to 20 so we have nice and round corners. And then we can connect this first row to a Shopify product. Under content, go to Shopify, and then you can select the product. For this first product, I want to work with the flavored variety cold brew singles pack. There we go. And what that essentially means is that whatever we drag into this row when it comes to product related content, it will automatically fetch the product content from Shopify, specific this flavored variety cold brew singles pack, and then adjust the content accordingly. So to demonstrate this, whenever I drag in under product a product image, it will show the product image of the flavored variety cold brew singles pack. And that's a super nice thing because this speeds up the workflow by quite a lot. Then also let's drag in a product title. As you can see, the product title automatically fetches from our Shopify environment. Then let's drag in a button, and next to this button, the product price. And as you can see, it will also fetch the product price. Now let's customize this a little bit further until we make more changes, because right now it does not look really nice. So within the layer panel, let's select this main row and set some inside spacing, 10 by 10, that looks about right. Then let's make this way smaller. It's 24 right now, but we can reduce it by 50%. 12 looks way better. Then also this text should have a font size of 12 as well. For the product price, 12. And let's align everything from the center and distribute from the bottom. There's a lot of space between these elements. That's because the gap is set to 32. Let's change this to 12. Looks way better. And then underneath this button, we will create a review section. So let's drag in a row. Then within this row, we drag in a icon. We change the icon to the star icon. Change the type to fill and the color to a nice yellowish golden star color. This is not perfect, but it does the job. It's quite big, so let's change the width and height to 15 by 15, so it's a lot smaller. And now let's duplicate these icons. As you can see, when we duplicate, they're placed underneath each other. I want them next to each other, so to do that, let's change the direction from vertical, which it's currently on, to horizontal, and they're next to each other. Also, there's quite some space between the different star icons, so let's change the gap to 12 or maybe even smaller. 6, that looks better. 1 more, 2 more. Now we have 5 stars, and next to this add some text, and this can say 10 reviews. Font can also be smaller. 12 looks about right. And now let's delete the minimum height of 200 pixels, and we're slowly getting somewhere. Before continuing, I will make the final changes to this first row to add the right fonts and the right colors, and then we continue. Now that the right styles have been applied, let's make some final changes. This button is a little bit too small, so what we can do is change the width from fit to a relative width and change this to 80%, so it will occupy 80% of the space available. This looks way better. We also need to add a bit more top and bottom spacing, so let's change this to 16. Looks way better already. And let's also add a bit more inside spacing to the main row, so there's more space between the content and the edges of the row. So let's change the top and bottom inside spacing to 24. This looks about right. The next thing I want to create is another row, but this one will not be positioned relative, but will be positioned absolute. And the reason for this is that I don't want this specific element within this row to interfere with the position of other elements in this row, and for that we need to work with position absolute. So within this absolute positioned element, let's drag in a little text element, and this should say new. The font can be the archive font. There we go. Change this to bold, and the color can be black. And then for this row, let's delete the minimum height, set the fill color to this color right here, and then change the width to fit, so it will snap to the width or the height of the content within. Let's add a bit more inside spacing. This can be 5 by 20. This looks about right. And then we need to make sure that there's more space between the outer edge of the row and then where this element starts. So let's change the top to 24 and the left to 10, so it matches the inside spacing settings of this entire row. Maybe we can change this a little bit, change the top to 10. That looks way better. Then also set the radius of this element so the corners are nice and round. And there we have it. The next thing we can do is work with interactions, because what I want to accomplish is that whenever someone hovers over this row, almost all the colors change. So this white color should change into a blue color. That automatically means that this text color should change, the button color should change, and we can also add a small border to this button to make it even more dynamic when someone hovers over this row. So let's first select the main row, which has the white fill color, go to interaction, add a trigger, the mouse hover trigger, and then we can change the fill to this color right here. And as you can see, now the button is also gone because it has the same color. So we need to make way more changes. Let's select the button at first, add another trigger, mouse hover, and then change the fill to a white color. That means we need to adjust the text color as well. So let's add another trigger to the text color, set the color to the blue color right here. Also for the other text element, mouse hover, set the color to the blue color. Let's preview really quickly what happens. As you can see, we did not set the right interaction to the correct element, so let's fix that. It was set to the fill, but we should set it to the color, so it does not change the fill color of this element, but only the color of the text. There we go. Let's preview again and see what happens, and now it's starting to look better. What we need to do is change the color of this review text and the product title, and then add a little border on this element right here. So let's select this text element, under interactions, add another mouse hover effect, and then change the color to white. There we go. The same for this little text element right here, mouse hover effect, color white, and then for this element right here, another mouse hover, and then we add another property, the border property, and add a white border with 100% opacity with a width of 1 pixel. Now let's preview again to see what we have done, and this is starting to look really nice. What's next is duplicating this first row right here, and then we can simply change the source under content to a different product, and then all the content will automatically change to the different product that we have selected. So let's duplicate this row right here and delete the other row. Do that another time and another time. And then when we select the main row, we can go back to style. Then under content, we can select a different source, so a different product. For this one, I want the cake batter. There we go, XL cold brew bags. Let's select it. And as you can see, all the content changes automatically. Let's do the same thing for this product right here. I want to work with the blue matcha latte. There we go. And as you can see, also the price has changed. And then the last product is the lavender matcha latte. And here we have it. The last thing we need to do is add a text element on top. So a heading above these 4 columns. We should align this from the center, and then we can change this text in shop best sellers. Change the font to this one and then reduce the size and set the right color. And there we have it. Let's preview and see what we have actually built. So we've built this product slider with all these nice hover effects where a lot changes. This makes it super dynamic. And I hope this tutorial shows you how you can build something like this yourself, and good luck.